Good evening. This is Anthony Miller, Special Districts Manager with the City of Oxnard, presenting reimbursement of service charges to special districts. Recommendation that the City Council approve and authorize 1. Transfers in the total amount of $49,531.62 from the General Fund 101 available fund balance to 7 landscape maintenance districts, Fund 120, with the corresponding budget appropriation adjustments for reimbursement of service charges, including interest, and 2. Transfers in amount detailed in Table 2 of the Financial Impact section from 6 landscape maintenance districts, Fund 120, available fund balances to 6 other landscape maintenance districts, Fund 120, and subsequent transfers to and from the General Fund 101 for changes in general benefit contributions with the corresponding budget appropriation adjustments for reimbursement of service charges, including interest. Background. The Special Districts Division of the Public Works Department is responsible for the maintenance, operation, and administration of the city's 50 special districts, including bonded and non-bonded community facilities districts, landscape maintenance districts, waterway maintenance assessment districts, and a maintenance assessment district. Each district has specific authorized individual services and improvements. Many of the services are provided by contractors who invoice the districts individually for the services that are completed within that district. Prior to payment, invoices are reviewed for confirmation of the services rendered and the costs allocated to the appropriate district or other funding sources. Errors, while uncommon, must be corrected when staff confirms any discrepancy. In September 2023, a resident brought to the Special Districts Division's attention that there may have been charges to LMD 28 for sidewalk displacement grinding services that should have been charged to another funding source. After review, the inaccurate charges were confirmed by staff. Staff then reviewed all sidewalk maintenance charges that were performed within the LMDs. The result was a City Council approved reimbursement on March 19, 2024 to the various LMDs totaling $168,247.67. As a part of the March 19, 2023 staff report, Public Works staff noted that additional review would be done to check for other potential discrepancies for services beyond the sidewalk displacement grinding. Consistent with the starting time frame that was reviewed for the sidewalk displacement grinding services, a staff member in the city manager's office was assigned to perform spot checks for invoice discrepancies that were billed to the LMDs from fiscal year 2018-19 through fiscal year 2021-22. Discussion. Staff spot check items included invoices for monthly landscape maintenance services, tree trimming and removal, pest control, fence repair and replacement, and lighting repairs. Methodology for the review included confirmation that the services were performed within the appropriate district, confirmation that the services corresponded with that fiscal year's LMD engineer's report, use of the city's geographic information systems to verify each district's boundaries and improvements, use of the Finance Department's chart of accounts to ensure the correct account numbers were used. In cases where a service to an LMD authorized improvement was performed, but the corresponding invoice was unclear, potentially questionable, or staff could not validate the charge, the recommendation from staff is to reimburse the charge in question. City Manager's Office staff detailed their findings in a memo dated January 30th, 2025, which is attached to this report. Staff concluded that a total of $40,455.54 was incorrectly allocated or was questionable enough to recommend reimbursement among the LMDs. There is a difference of $570 between the total amount identified within the attached memo and the amount identified within this report. This is due to the inclusion of the entire amount of a single invoice rather than a partial total after further review of the specific charge. This table represents the total amount per fiscal year that was incorrectly charged to various LMDs. The necessary corrections for each impacted LMD are listed in the Financial Impact section. Staff does not expect any further reimbursements to correct LMD service charges. Staff is currently reviewing all LMD utility charges and expects some additional corrections to be presented to the City Council once that analysis is completed. Financial impact. The transfer amounts and corresponding budget appropriations, which include interest and applicable general benefit contributions, are outlined in tables 1 and 2. Interest reimbursement was calculated taking into consideration the following assumptions. 1. Each respective invoice was paid within 30 days of the invoice date, and 2. Local agency investment fund interest rate was applied for each quarter through the quarter ending December 31st, 2024. The March 31st, 2025 LAIF interest rate has been estimated using the trailing 4-quarter average of LAIF rates. Each transaction's corresponding general benefit contribution, which would have been attributed to these expenses, has also been included in the transfer calculation. This is Table 1, which details general fund to L&D transfers. Each line represents a specific transaction. The debit amount, which was the invoice total, the interest amount from that invoice, the change in general benefit contribution to and from the district in question, and the total net debits and net credits. This is Table 2, which details L&D to L&D transfers. The farthest left column details the L&Ds transferring that the invoice will be debited from. The debited amount of interest that will be debited from the account. The credited amount of general benefit contribution from the general fund, had the invoice been properly charged, and the net debit to the district. The column that is the 6th column from the left is the fund that the district fund that the invoices are being moved out of. So credited amounts to that district, credited amounts for the interest they would have earned had they not spent their funds, and the debited amount from the district to the general fund to refund the portion of general benefit that this district received as a portion of that invoice expense. The total net credits for that district are on the far right. The total amounts at the bottom in between debit and credit do not balance due to differences between the L&D's general benefit contribution, as each one of those rates is set per L&D. The adjustments will be represented in each L&D subfund and included in the Consolidated Engineers Report as part of the fiscal year 2025-26 assessment process. Any questions?